6,
5, 4,
4.
3, 2, 1.
In an unsure world as it is at the moment, we find solace in the things that we've seen commonly. For me and some others, Narcos, the TV show, is one of those things. The show is consistent and helps us remain entertained, especially as we're all under quarantine. Also, this show has numerous great moments, and just mentioning 10 didn't do much justice, so here's Volume 2 of the best Narcos moments. Starting off the list is a scene with Pacho and a car bomb outside a church. In Season 3, you'll find the story is less about the iconic Pablo Escobar, but rather the war of the government and its agencies against the drug cartels. In this scene, we find that the cartel members are very religious and are in church. While the Padre is sharing his sermon, there's extremely loud music that's distracting him, followed by some gunshots. The sicarios rush out of the church to curb the threat and find a car with loud music. The car then blows up, killing all of them. Pacho then walks into the church to introduce himself, claim the lives of Gerda Salazar and her sons to be delivered to him, and makes a threat on the entire community.
Mi nombre es Pacho Herrera. Quiero que me entreguen a Gerda Salazar y a sus malparidos hijos.
And of course, before he leaves, he reminds them to pray, as a good Catholic should.
Y ahora, recen. Recen.
Next up is Miguel narrowly escaping the police. Reminiscent of The Matrix, here comes number 9. In The Matrix, Neo and his friends run away from agents by shielding themselves in the walls. This allows them to somewhat escape their pursuit. Narcos has a similar scene where Miguel is hiding within a wall. The police have raided his place and are looking for a false wall. Miguel can't move because if he does, then he's going to be heard. So the officers use a drill to try and see if there's an air pocket, and lo and behold, there is one. The agents poke a few holes in the wall, drilling through Miguel's side in the process, but just as he's about to cave the wall in completely, he's stopped by the local police.
Autoridad legal en este recinto. Exijo que paren su búsqueda inmediatamente.
Talk about a close shaver. That could have ended very badly for Miguel, that one.
No, pero no pueden hacer eso. No pueden. Oiga, Tata, eso es ilegal. Eso es ilegal. No se me preocupe.
Coming in at number 8 is Pablo's family escaping Colombia. At the height of the police crackdown on Pablo's cartel in Colombia, he tries to get his family out of the country safely. I mean, it's nice to see that he cares for his family. He intends for them to immigrate to Germany, which was accepting of any and all people. But sometimes people use underhanded means to get what they want, and the authorities do that too. A little snitch tells the airport police that Pablo's wife was walking around with wads of cash in her bag. With lots of money, there needs to be accountability for where that money's come from, right? Unfortunately, the family was denied entry onto the plane. Pablo then calls the German embassy and throws out a bunch of insults for the police who refuse his family refuge and threatens to bomb them as a show of how angry he is.
Nazistas, racistas, gonorreas, los voy a matar a todos. O yo los voy a matar a todos.
Don't forget to pick me and Penny up some cigars on the way.
¿Cómo no, moñito?
Up next is Carrillos' death. Carrillo is the first law enforcer in Narcos who's not swayed by personal gains and benefit. This causes us to have a love-hate relationship with him because you have to respect the man for standing up for his principles, but you can't help but dislike him because he's going after Pablo.
Cuando te encuentre, te voy a matar.
Now, of course, I mean in the context of the TV show before you start flooding my comments section for supporting Pablo. However, eventually, he does end up meeting his demise on the side of the road during an attack on their convoy. The rest of the men in the convoy are killed by the sicarios while Pablo comes to finish the job himself. The one thing that Carrillo does that demands the absolute respect of a warrior is that he doesn't beg. He stares death straight in the face and welcomes it with open arms like the Spartans of old.
Yo siempre te he dicho a vos que tenemos que volar bajo. Si vos seguís comprando así, vas a aparecer en la revista Forbes. Y si eso pasa, el gobierno nos va a reventar el...
Ya, Gustavo.
How to launder money is an art, and who better to do it than Pablo? Now, Pablo had a unique way of doing things that consistently failed to live up to the norm. In the beginning of their business, they opened up a laundromat to clean their money. You get it, right? They would launder money like the rest of us would launder clothes. Unfortunately, the money passing through his mart was up to $5 million a month, and they definitely needed other avenues. He tried a few more, and finally, he just got tired of thinking and thought, simply bury it.
Entiérrela.
¿Cómo así?
Entierra la plata. Y déjese de pendejadas.
This man gave a new vision to the words sitting on a pile of gold. He literally stuffed his mother's couch with $1 million and sat on it. I mean, this man can only be described as a legend.
Mejor pones todo este dinero en el banco, mijo.
Esos banqueros son unos bandidos.
¿Verdad, mijo?
Usted sabe que yo fui uno de los hombres más ricos de este puto mundo. Así. Sabe que el presidente de los Estados Unidos sabe quién soy yo.
Our next moment is the father-son disagreement. During the period of time that Pablo's on the run from the authorities, he goes to meet his father. Now, in this scene, we see Pablo showing aspects of his relationship with his father that we didn't even know he had. His father invites him to join him in the slaughter of a pig. During the slaughter, Pablo's sprayed by blood and reacts explosively.
Chistoso que no le guste la sangre. Qué extraño. ¿Usted qué me quiere decir con eso?
His father looks at him strangely and mentions that Pablo shouldn't have a problem with blood, especially due to his line of work. Pablo then goes on to rant about how great he was and the impact he's had on Colombia.
Y que su apellido es conocido en todo el mundo por lo que hice yo.
Now, this little scene may seem lost in a sea of other amazing scenes, but this one stands out because it shows us the depth of Pablo's character. We can see that he's been craving his father's acceptance and praise. It's why he's obedient in the beginning, and later, when he makes a mistake, lists all the accolades he has to receive praise from his father. Our favorite drug lord is a human being as well.
Déjeme solo.
Pablo celebrating his birthday in hiding makes it to number 4. This, for me, I think honestly, is one of the saddest moments in the entire series, when we see Pablo celebrating his birthday. He's just recently on the run, which means his only means of communication with the outside world is through a walkie-talkie. He sits and reminisces on how great it would have been if he'd been the president of Colombia and to celebrate his birthday with the whole nation, but then the reality sets in, sitting in a dark, moldy room by himself, listening to his family sing happy birthday to him from a walkie-talkie. Such a stark contrast causes Pablo to reflect on the cause and effect of the crumble of his empire. It's hard to see him sad and vulnerable, but as life is, it consists of both ups and downs, and for Pablo, this was as low as it could get.
A ver, ¿qué vas a hacer ahora? ¿Nos vas a matar o qué?
¿Tienen miedo de morir?
Yo no. Vos.
Coming in at number 3 is Pablo threatening Gustavo. Pablo has a flair for drama, as we can see throughout the series, but during this scene, we feel that he's been able to take it to the next level. He's looking for information on who betrayed him, and is questioning Gustavo, one of his most entrusted enforcers.
Yo ando en mi lealtad, Pablo.
The two of them have a very close relationship, yet there are odds a lot with each other. As he keeps talking to him, he walks to the side of the room and picks up a couple of sticks of dynamite which are stuck together, and then he lights them. Gustavo is shitting himself, and he knows that if he says the wrong thing at this time, it's gonna lead to his death.
Apágalo, Pablo. Apágala, Pablo.
Pablo then puts it out, throws it aside, and walks out of the room as if nothing happened. What a diva.
Pero sí estoy teniendo serias dudas con los Ochoa.
The news that the Cali cartel had donated to the president's campaign in exchange for virtual immunity turned Colombia upside down.
In the runner-up spot, it's Xavier exposing the corrupt system. Xavier arrests Miguel while Pacho and Chafee have given themselves up. However, he finds out that the cartel have paid $6 million to the Colombian president to have them serve a short time and go free.
Salud.
Xavier is shocked, and when he reports this to those above him, he finds out that they know about the deal and aren't going to do anything about it. He is shocked when he finds this information out. All his hard work only for it to be belittled at the end of the day. He decides to take matters into his own hands by talking to a reporter.
Usted sabe las implicaciones que tiene dar esta declaración, ¿cierto?
The reporter publishes the article in a Colombian newspaper, and the people speak up in protest. This ensures that the leaders of the cartels remain in jail for the rest of their lives. He managed to get what he wanted. Quid pro quo, if you ask me.
You played the system like a goddamn fiddle. You won.
Decirle a los hombres que están allá atrás que Chepe Santa Cruz Londoño se está haciendo un tratamiento relajante y quiere hablar con ellos.
Chafee going off on the Dominicans in a barber shop makes it to #1. In one of the most epic scenes in Narcos, we see Chafee going to get his hair done in a Dominican salon. He's in New York trying to get his footing there, and one way is by absorbing currently existing business enterprises. Anyhow, in the process of getting his hair done, the hairdresser notes his strange accent and finds out that he is actually Colombian.
¿De dónde eres?
De Colombia.
The Dominicans then walk in and demand that Chafee leaves with his people, and Chafee gives them his own set of conditions, which is to leave within a time period and never come back.
Es salir de aquí inmediatamente y no volver nunca más.
The Dominicans are insulted and initiate a countdown for Chafee and his goons. Chafee hijacks the countdown and kills all of them, including the goons, in just a very simple way. Another surprising thing is how fast Chafee's reflexes are. I mean, he's literally dodged a bullet here, and that is what you call quality TV. And there we have it. As all good things do, this list comes to an end. But what have been your favourite Narcos moments? If you really love this series, my advice would be to consider watching Narcos Mexico, whose latest season just released on Netflix. Also, remember, this is Volume 2, so you have to make sure that you check out Volume 1 of this video as well. Be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to stay in the loop of all of my future uploads. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.